What did this used to be? All these little...
These are all CCC.
Oh, okay.
So this was what was known as Camp 2. Hello and welcome. This is the Sugar Shack at Laurel Hill State Park. I want to welcome you here because it's a pretty special time of year. This is the time that we make maple syrup. Really common in Somerset County, and there's good reason for it. This part of the world, so northeastern North America, is where we make syrup. It's really one of the only places that you can produce syrup in the way that we do in the entire world. And it's because we have seasons. We love our seasons. There's a little bit to be had for all of them. Some enjoy snow, some enjoy the sun, some enjoy the beautiful fall leaves, and some enjoy leaf out when it's lime green outside, which is coming very soon. So because we have these perfect seasons, we have the perfect maple syrup. And it's all because our trees work with the seasons. So in the fall, when we saw the leaves coming off the trees, one of my favorite times of year, and a lot of people like to visit this area, that is when the sap that's in the tree, so all of the water and nutrients in the tree flow all the way down to the bottom of the tree and get stored in the roots for the winter. The word is called phloem, P-H-L-O-E-M, phloem. So you can remember phloem down is how that sap goes in and it gets stored. It spends the winter like that. It saves its energy, it sits in a dormant state. It really protects the tree by doing so when we have winter rolling in. But when the days start to get above 40 degrees and we see sunshine, which we've had a lot of recently, then things start to change. When we have sunshine, 40 degrees, and we still have very cold nights, we have the perfect flow. That flow is called xylem. That's when that sap starts to move from the roots up through the trees and out into the branches. That is what we're tapping into. That is the sap that makes maple syrup. Now, something interesting about sap is that it is 95% water, which makes sense. That's essential for trees to live. That does carry nutrients. Maybe 1 to 2% is nutrients, but only 2 or 3% is the sugar that we're trying to get to. So we have to do a lot of boiling to get there. Through the years, there have been many ways that we've done boiling, but here at Laurel Hill, we stand tried and true with using an evaporation system and using it as a wood-fired. So we have lots of firewood, and we fire up our evaporator every year this time of year, and I'll talk with you more about how we do that. So our trees aren't right here on site at our sugar camp. Our trees are near the main park office. You can see the tubes that are running through the trees. They're tapped into the tree, and then the tubes run to giant vats that will fill with sap. Then those vats are pumped onto the truck that you see in front of you. You can see the big container that's there. They look the same when they're in the field. Pumped onto there and brought down to our location here at the sugar camp. The building that's sitting right in front of the truck is where we put the sap. There's a large stainless steel vat in there and a UV filter. Sap is a pretty safe thing, but we're very careful. You can see the hose that's running down, the red hose that runs right into this building. So it's gravity fed. So it runs from that building into this building. It comes in, goes around the spiral to start heating up essentially, and moves into this first pan right here. This pan has kind of a leveler in it. As the sap moves in and as it boils away, more sap will keep coming. So it's a constant flow of sap as we continue to cook. When you get into the evaporator, again, wood fired, so there is wood underneath here. It's actually really warm right here. It is wood fired. As you move through here, it's getting thicker, it's getting darker. It's gonna look more like syrup. So then we have to test it to see if it's ready. Some of us, you want to taste it, but it's really, really hot, so we can't do that. So we're trying to get to that syrup consistency. One thing we look for is color. We want it to be darker. You can look at the colors that we have here. This is what sap looks like. Clear, really nothing to it. It's mostly water, remember, 95% water. As you boil a bit, you're gonna get to here. Some people like this for their syrup. They like it to be lighter, not quite as sweet, something kind of delicate. Boil a bit further, and you get a little bit darker, starting to look like syrup. Here in Somerset County, we are used to this. because we have a high sugar content. Hopefully, some years are different than others. There are things that influence the sugar content every year, but this is typically what we make here at Laurel Hill State Park. So it's nice and sweet, very, very thick as well. So we're looking for that thick stuff that hangs off of your fork when you're eating pancakes. One of the instruments that we use is called a hydrometer. This is used for a lot of different things, but works really well for syrup. So what we're looking for is the density of the syrup and the thickness. So we'll dip the metal tube down into the evaporator and take a scoop of it. Then we'll drop the glass piece down inside, and we never want to hear the glass touch the bottom. That's how we know we're getting close. If the glass touches the bottom and we hear that tap, then we know it's not quite ready yet, that we should probably boil a bit more. So we can keep testing it that way. We can also scoop up, as they did in the olden days, scoop up a little and just see how quickly it actually runs off of something like a stick or something like that, a popsicle stick. But this is a telltale way of doing it. So we'll get a good view. We're going to let you get nice and close and actually see what's happening. Our fire today started mid-afternoon, 11 o'clock, so about 11 a.m. we got the fire started this morning. So we've been boiling for quite some time. So we should be getting pretty close to syrup. So if you want to come in close and check it out, we'll show you some more. So you can see the evaporator working, and as the sap is turning into syrup, we're getting really close. Now we don't finish it directly off of the evaporator. We will bring a pan over and fill it up with the nozzle that's here, and then we will finish it kind of to a finer product, to exactly what we want, on a smaller burner in smaller batches. And then we put it into bottles, and it's ready for sale, or to be eaten, which we prefer here.